right, so the first thing I'm going to show you is how easy it is just to distress the edges of a card. And we're just going to make this card, and I'm also going to put a little stamped image. I'm using the set here by Scrap Cozy from Paper Artsy ESC 12. I just love these images. That crab is amazing. And it has this tiny little star. So what I'm going to do is I just want this quote, "A pretty curious creature found on the seashore." That's kind of cool because I could take a picture of one of my kids and put it underneath because they are pretty curious creatures. But how do I do it where I just get the words and not all of this stuff as well? So I'm going to show you how to do that. And it's just a pretty simple technique. You just masking off. Here's basically where I got my paper from. Again, my planner paper was here, so I have a piece already cut out. And I'm also going to use some of this paper down here. It has a little bit of a tint to it, so that's kind of a bonus. And so these are Eileen's blends. Again, 10 ink pads worth of ink inside here. So it's basically this little ink pad container, I guess. You just pop off the lid, and then you have your foamy attached. When you get them, let me see if I can find a new one. That's kind of new, you can tell. This is all white, obviously, and you have to prime this little piece or this little piece of foam. Now, one of the challenges is the foam doesn't last. They're trying to come up with a replacement foam right now, but the piece that lets the ink come out can kind of junk up the foam a bit. I don't know if you can see that. I've got a little ding out of my phone. So there's a couple of ways to get around that. But one of them is you just take your craft mat, and this is how you prime it when you're starting, is you just push down and you get that blend going, and by pushing on this it'll release the ink. And there's a little depressor, like a little button in there, and it'll release the ink, and you just put it on your craft mat to get it primed. You can use a foamy, you can use a cosmetic sponge, whatever you want to sort of extend the life of this product, but I love using it just like this. So here we go. I've got some ink, I've tapped my ink on, and then I've just kind of spread it out, and I'm doing it very lightly. Then I'm just going to take a piece of masking tape, and I'm going to block off where I got some of that ink. Now, if I'm using this to cut out, I don't have to do this, which is what I'm doing. But I did want to show you this technique. If I was going to stamp directly on my piece, I would want to be able to mask off. And then I'm just going to press down. There we go. Bam, just done like that. So how easy was that? Super easy. This ink is also permanent on fabric. You can use it on fabric, and then you heat set it and it'll be permanent. So that is a really cool little side effect. And then just so easy to carry around with you. So now I have my quote, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my seahorse. This takes up a lot of space, but I think what I might do is do the smaller one. There's a star. I've already lost it. Here's the star. So this is one of the things I love the most about this product. I can come in with multiple colors and really quickly and easily color my seahorse. So let's say I want the backgrounds to be these same colors. I'm going to do the background the same color so you can see what I'm doing. And then I'm thinking, let's do some yellows and browns for the seahorse. Now, keep in mind, your little animals can be whatever color you want. They don't have to be seahorse colors. And having said that, I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to put seahorse colors. So I just come along and I just kind of sketch some of the colors on, just like that. And here I'm adding 3 colors. Maybe I'll give him a little blue. How about a little tealy beachy color head? That would be fun. Now you can see I'm blending my colors. I've mixed the blue down into the yellow. This is what'll be fun about this. And I'm going to do a test run first, but look how cool that is. And I'm glad I did a test run because you can see I put too much ink. My ink kind of got, it's not that I put too much ink, it's that I wobbled my stamp, which grabbed the edge and created this. But now I could easily cut that out. But what's cool about this is look how the color changes. I only put 3 colors, but I get 4 because they blend together. So I have my, and let me tell you the colors that I've used. So this is bay, and then leaf, and then golden, and my last one was nutmeg. But you can see how nicely that just went on and how quick it was. But where the bay and the golden mixed, there's kind of a green color that's really, really pretty. So there's my cute little seahorse. Now another fun effect I can do is I can take this and give it just a little quick spritz of water, just like a little mist of water. I don't know if I have enough ink, but we'll see. And then I get a watercolor effect, more of a watercolor effect. And you can see I don't have a lot of ink on here. So what I would do is start with that. In fact, let's do that to show you. So I can come in and quickly get those edges off. And I'm going to go in with the same color. So I'm going to just dab that on. The same order. You can see how easy that is. Dab away. Oh yeah, I didn't use leaf. I made a green, didn't I? That's funny. I thought I had added the leaf, but I didn't. So now this time what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, I guess I should use a paintbrush or something. Clean up the stamp edge a little bit. Because yes, I am an over stamper. I tend to rock my stamps, which I know you're not supposed to do. So I'm going to come in here. Oh yeah, there you go. So look how pretty that is. I just get that automatic watercolor look. And it's much more vibrant because I had more ink on it. So here the stamp is much more detailed, what I get. The image is much more detailed. And here I have that sort of loosey-goosey watercolor look. So now what I would probably do, I can cut these out if I want and add them to my stamp block. But I think what I'm going to do instead, I am going to use the little star, and I'm just going to wing it. Quick spritz with water. I don't put stuff on my stamps to clean them. I just use a little bit of water. So I'm going to take my star. I'm going to do the same thing. I think I'll probably use the same colors. My starfish. So I'm just going to... And again, if ink doesn't come up, I just prime it a little bit on my mat. But as you can see, I'm really not pressing very hard. It's pretty light. I'm going to add some more. I lost some of my blue there. Okay. And then I'm going to come along with this, and I'm just going to... see, I got the edges. Let's see if we can pull that up using some water. Or at least blend it in a little. Stamper error, user error. Now remember, this is just plain paper, planner paper, so it's a bit thin. Nope. Pulled it up a little bit. Ooh, but you know what I could do? One of the things I love, it's a Bob Ross saying, and it's the happy little accidents that we create. So what I can do instead of getting rid of them is I can work with my mistake. So I'm going to let that dry and then I'll come back in and fix that. I have an idea. Okay, so now what I want to do is distress my edges in my sample. And so for this one I used more of a dark, this might not be the exact same one I used. This is Beach, and I did use Leaf, and then I came in with a bit of a blue. Just to give you an idea, I've had these forever. I mean, I first met Eileen, the very first time I ever met Eileen, I was demoing her product. It's kind of a fun story. But we're talking a long, 5-6 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. So I've had this for 6 years and it's still going strong. So, but you can see that it's well loved and some of the packaging has come off as opposed to the brand new happy one. But, you know, I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, so when I do this, though, I'm going to keep in mind that my colors are going to blend in the middle. That's what I want to happen. So I have to think about it a little bit because I don't want to make mud, or I want to blend colors that go nicely together. So, for example, I know that if I take blue and green go well together and they will blend to make a third color. The same with blue and red. So I'm okay there. I can do all of just, you know, carry on kind of deal. So I'm just going to come in, look how simple this is, and I'm just going to do my edge like that. And then where my edge meets, I'm going to overlap a bit. And what that's going to do, well, I used a lighter color in that one, that's fine. I'll show you why I can blend that out a bit. I'm getting another color, I'm getting a third color. So there's the green, there's the blue, and this is kind of like a forest green almost. It's actually really pretty. And then I can come in with my red. Eileen does not have a purple in her line. And there are people who are like, why is there no purple? Well, you can make the purple. So here is the prime example. If I take the beach and I've got stop, I think that's stop, I get a really nice purple. I don't know if you can see that. So there's my edging. That's as simple as that. Now, if I want to come in and do some more, I can just take my blend and using the foam piece, I can add that edging in there. And I can just tap on my mat, mix it up, add some edging. Same with the blue. Got a little bit much on there. But it's kind of, I don't know, looks really cool. Oop. I'll tell you straight up, I am a messy crafter. I tend to get product everywhere. I tend to have a mess at the end of my sessions. My mat's not clean. It's just the way I roll. So now I have my distressed edge. And that was pretty simple. So what I normally did when I made these other cards, I had a bunch of cards lined up and I just basically went 1, 2, 3 and did all the edges. So now I'm going to put my title down and my lines. Let's deal with this little guy. One other thing I like using is by Tombow. They have these really great pens and they're called twin tone pens. And what's neat about them, you know, a lot of pens have the dual edge, but one of the things I really like about the twin tone is that it's a super fine edge. Like, look how fine that edge is. So I can do a really thin, sketchy line if I do it lightly, and I can do a bit of a thicker line, but that's pretty thin, so it's great for writing. It's great for doing this kind of work with. And then it also has the fatter line. And I can, so just to give you an idea, it comes in all kinds of colors. There's 2 packs basically that they come in. Tombow is super generous to let me play with these, and I just have both of the packages of them, and I will put a link down where you can get them, what they look like. But I just thought for today I'll just play with them. So that's how I got my lines here. And what I thought about was I can come in and where I messed up with my little seahorse guy, I could actually just accentuate it instead. I might start with the thin line. I don't want it to be super noticeable, but I can come in and just kind of, using these colors, I can mimic the color sort of that I've used. And basically all I'm doing is I'm taking my mistake and I'm making it look like, oh yeah, I did that on purpose. So I'm just going to cut my quote out. And I'm going to not be overly careful. So I could either do it in two, I could cut the words up and switch them around, but I think I'm fine with that. Cannot cut a straight line.